Test, test, test. Okay, welcome to the Stellaris show. I'm Blaren, and this is our Civic tier list. So we did Origins several days ago. Then the next show, we went over my favorite governments and ethics, authorities and ethics, but we didn't really have a lot of time to go into civics, so I felt like it was appropriate to end the stream there. So now we are actually going to spend, I think, this entire stream going over every civic that I have access to, that I can see, and kind of rate them very loosely. I think I'm going to, if I really don't have a lot to say about a civic, I will just tell you where I'm putting it, and I will. And if you want an explanation and you're in chat, go ahead and ask, and I may go back to it and talk about it again. But otherwise, I'll just move on. So we do, obviously we have a lot to cover. So I want to get done with this whole thing in under so I might be able to do the whole thing. We'll just see how fast we go here, because I've been going pretty slow, unfortunately. My bad. But if we're making good time and we get through the vanilla civics, or not the vanilla civics but the standard empire civics that I have, then we will go ahead and we will get we'll go into hive mind, and then we'll just go as far as we can, and if we don't have enough time, we'll make this a two-parter or something, or we may split it up into 4 parts like I originally planned. So now you may have noticed that I wasn't here yesterday. Like I said, remember, I'm not on a schedule. So I know I did say I was going to, try to be on tomorrow, but I just wasn't able to. There was something came up, and I guess I'm not really going to talk about it. It's just, yeah, stuff's going on in the, behind the scenes that I'm having to deal with. But you know what? Bottom line about it all is that, you know what? I'm here for you guys. And for me, I think this channel and what I want to do with it and what I want to do on YouTube is in some ways bigger than me. So, but anyway, let's get on with Stellaris. So let's go. We're at the menu right now. Let's go ahead and easiest way to do this is just create a new empire here. I'm gonna go ahead and I have actually been playing Stellaris off camera. I have kind of gotten into it a little bit again, to my surprise. Wasn't expecting that, but it's actually been going pretty well. I made a really good roleplay empire. I know I know what I said about roleplay, right? But actually, it's probably the most roleplay I've ever done a build. I actually filled out the bio. Isn't that scary? But it's a really great idea, though. I'll just tell you guys. So actually, no, we don't have time. We have a lot of stuff to cover, so let's just get right into it. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to stay focused here. Okay, so we're gonna go with we're not gonna choose any ethics or authorities and see what we have pulled up here. Now, because see, as long as I don't pick Gestalt and I don't pick a certain authority, all of the vanilla, as far as I know, all of the vanilla and or standard empire civics, biological civics will show up, even if they're in gray. So we'll cover the ones not grayed out and the ones that are lit up. So I guess, so the first one is Byzantine bureaucracy. Okay. So that is this one, I mean, it's not bad. I mean, the bonuses aren't bad, and I have praised this in one of my older more inexperienced videos. I don't choose this today, but I did choose it in the past. You know, it's like one of those things where on paper it's not bad. It's just there are so many better civics that you can pick. There are, I admit it. There are so many better ones. However, if you're if you're playing a biological empire and you are, for whatever reason, you are really big on stability, and and you plan on making a lot of administrators anyway, or bureaucrats, then this definitely will help with your unity, especially since if you're spiritualist. So give me a second here. I gotta bring my window up. Okay. So Byzantine bureaucracy, I'm not going to talk about it anymore. It's one of the it definitely is one of those civics that's pretty common, that's been around for a long time. So we'll just go ahead and put that in the B tier. Like, it doesn't suck. Okay, I am pretty sure I changed that size before, but I will do it again. Let's see. I have a huge time spelling bureaucracy or bureau or any of that. Why doesn't it pull it up? Come on, dude. You know what? I don't give a damn. I'll keep it spelled bad. It's fine. This ain't a spelling bee anyway. Let's move on. So Corvée system. Yeah, well, for one, I have never completely understood exactly how the whole pop growth immigration thing works. It's never made a difference to me either way. I've never noticed anything, I've never noticed it make an impact. Worker pop resource output is actually decent. So I am noticing that actually isn't a bad bonus. Waves all unity costs of pop settlement, which you won't even notice that either. So you don't notice the pop growth from immigration. You don't notice the unity. And like I said, I'll admit I'm a little fuzzy on the immigration mechanics because I don't really focus on them, and I've never really felt the need to my whole time playing. So what does that tell you? If they were really that important and impactful, I would definitely know them and want to stack that. So, but yeah, the worker resource output, I mean, that's just a flat gain right there, both the empire skill and just a general modifier. So if you were to combine this with, like, I don't know if you can, yeah, you can combine it with Fanatic Authoritarian. You could definitely stack that's like a 20%, as far as I know. That's a plus the the empire, the skill, that's like more than a 20% increase in worker resource output. So, however, again, there are more powerful civics out there, and also if you want to stack resource bonuses, most people generally go with egalitarian for that. Because I mean, it's no secret that generally the specialist resource output is going to be far more powerful and impactful, especially in the long run, and especially depending on what you're doing, than worker resource output. But both are good. It's just, specialist output is better, obviously. I mean, so you have increases to energy credits, minerals, food, and minerals, food. God damn it, what's the other one? Why am I forgetting that? Okay, but the basic resources, and then, you know, alloys, science in particular, which is what everybody gets it for. You know, the complex one. The complex resources, you know, that's science, you know, research, alloys, and I think consumer goods. I'm pretty sure. Like I said, I'd have to double check all of this, but just off the top of my head. I mean, I could look, but I just, you know, I don't want to spend too much time on this. But yeah, but anyway, just, you know, I think we can all agree that worker resource output isn't as important as specialist output, as far as how powerful it is, how the potential of what you can do with it. So, so it's actually not terrible. I think if there probably are some builds out there where having a really high worker output is actually really good. So I think yeah, and it's really, if you want authoritarian, it can be a pretty good option. I think this honestly would be a really good third Civic or secondary Civic, but it definitely doesn't really overhaul your game. So yeah, it's gonna go in B. Let's see, because the bonus is pretty good actually. I don't even know. Give me a second. So I'm gonna type these down. And I'm gonna put these in, and then I'll show you the tier list after I finish. Okay, so we have now Crusader Spirit. Okay, this used to be S tier for me. I absolutely love this Civic. Boy, has it fallen. It's not useless. I mean, kinda. The problem with Crusader Spirit is, okay, is that you can only use Liberation Wars. So now before you used to be able to claim systems. I think the problem with this is that you now, it used to be different before, but now they nerfed it to where you cannot claim systems when you declare a liberation war. So that is really effed up and really just makes this makes this Civic pointless, to be honest, unless you are like doing some weird funny goal or whatever. Which is a real shame, because the Crusader trait is OP as hell if you can make it work. It is amazing. And, you know, being able to turn enemies into friends, that's also really cool. But like I said, what happens is, if you get stuck between, like, if you get stuck between friends, or like, you know, there's, if you can get locked very easily and be unable to widen your empire at all. So it's a lot more niche now. I'm not saying it's completely bad, but it is a lot more niche now than it used to be. And also, the really sad thing here is that its bonuses and its advantages really just gel really well with an aggressive playstyle, but you can't really be aggressive with this, is kind of my point. So it kind of just defeats the whole purpose. You know, the recent changes, like, they basically, for lack of a better way, they clipped its wings. Now, I could use something much more derogatory. You can imagine what I would say there. But I'll just say clipped its wings, okay? You know? It basically, the thing that made it really cool and really fun, they removed it. So now, I guess you could say maybe neutered. It's been neutered. So yeah, it's no longer good, at least to me. I don't see any use in it anymore. So after that. So really, I've got to give it. Honestly, I've got to give it an F. Which sucks because this, for me, this used to be S tier. I used to love, like, it used to scratch an itch for me. I had some good builds, but when they made that change, yeah, it just no point. There's just no point. So for me, only use this if you're trying to do something funny or weird or trying to experiment, or if you know those one or two builds where it works really well in. Maybe you have a pacifist build or something, and but then again, I don't even know if that would work in a pacifist build. In fact, I don't know if you even can do that. Let's make sure that you even can. No, it's not pacifist. So you can't even be pacifist. You have to be authoritarian, spiritualist, or militarist. So it's kind of like, okay, wait a minute. This whole thing is geared towards fighting, but I can't fight. Okay. Anyway, so that's how I feel about that. So we'll put that in the F tier. And again, I want to preface every. I want to make it clear every tier list here that F doesn't mean terrible or useless. It just means very niche. I mean, sometimes it is terrible, but really, if it's terrible, if it's completely stupid, just like, why did they even put this in here? Like, it does absolutely nothing. That's what I call the derp tier. Those are kind of like undisputedly, really, absolutely no use for this whatsoever. At least I can see. There's really, I don't see any way or any build that could possibly make use of that. The only thing I've ever put in the derp tier so far, I believe, is and there's a lot of other things I wanted to put in the derp tier, but I acknowledge that they have their uses. So F it has its uses, but it's very niche. Derp, but the only thing that was in derp tier was gateway, the gateway origin. Completely useless. That makes no sense. It's a waste of an origin slot, in my opinion. So, not really my opinion. I mean, it's like, no matter how I look at it, it's like, no, I can't see any reason anybody would want to pick this up. It's just, yeah. So unless it's like that, you know, unless it's like a waste of a slot, I don't, you know, that's not what F tier means. So anyway, we'll go ahead and go. Yeah, real shame. That was a real L. See this right here, Crusader Spirit. This is an example of why nerfing stuff is bad. Why you shouldn't nerf. You should nerf as a last resort. You shouldn't nullify a feature with nerfs. You should only, you know, make them slightly weaker or whatever. But what they did here with this was they just completely destroyed it. So they pretty much removed the feature, in my opinion, for what it was intended for. Anyway, again, this is just, you know, one opinion, I guess, but anyway. So Cutthroat politics, I'm gonna cut right to the chase here. I'm pretty sure this one sucks. None of this sucks. It's not really relevant. It's not very powerful. All the bonuses here, not really. Yeah, if anything, even the faction resource, which I've never valued that as a bonus. I've never cared about that or noticed it. I don't care about factions, but some people do, and there's some builds that make it work. But even then, even if you have something like that, you wouldn't pick up Cutthroat politics. You'd pick up, like, you know, parliamentary system or something like that. Yeah, and other stuff. But now the Edict Upkeep is okay. I mean, that's not terrible, but code breaking, no, the espionage system is terrible. So having any bonus in a Civic is just a waste of a bonus. So unless the other bonuses are super, super good, I wouldn't take anything that has any espionage bonuses in it, because it's just so bad. It's such a bad feature. So anyway, so Cutthroat politics is going to go in F tier for sure. Just not very useful. but has very limited use. And also, you got to remember, not useful to me, right? So this is also a subjective list. So I'm not a guru. I'm not like, you know, the be all end all for what is meta in Stellaris. Please don't think that. That's not my intention. You know, I suck at math. I just know a little bit. Okay, I know a little bit about this game enough to, you know, be able to guide and direct people, you know, so that they can choose their own path. And that's kind of how I approach things. I'm not the best player, but I'm definitely not the worst, right? So, so diplomatic core, that is at least a B, but we're gonna examine it and see if it deserves to be A. I think it actually does. I think really there isn't a better civic that you can pick for doing straight diplomacy for diplomatic reasons. I really don't think there's a better civic for biological empire. Give me a second here. My window's being jerk. Okay, let me take this over. Okay. All right, so yeah, diplomatic core is actually really decent. I think I am going to put it in A tier. It's obviously not S tier, simply because, you know, if you're not doing straight diplomacy, it's pretty useless. You know, if you're playing a hostile empire, there's really no reason to pick this up. Or if you're gonna war a lot, you know, if you're playing an aggressive empire, even if you can do diplomacy and you may do that, it's not like diplomacy isn't your top priority. Like, so this like belongs to like your xenophile empires, maybe even, you know, pacifist empires, you know, that kind of thing. But the thing of it is, those are B tier ethics, and, you know, build surrounded around those. Not saying they can't work, just saying that you know, there are more powerful civics out there for sure. There's more powerful playstyles that don't use it, that wouldn't use this at all because they simply don't have the space for it. However, this would make a great third civic. Like, for example, say you get into a federation, but you already picked your civics. Well, when your third one rolls around, you can get this. That's another reason it's really good. But yeah, bar none, is if you need diplomacy, this is a amazing civic. So this is an amazing primary civic for, you know, diplomatic empires that, you know, make love not war. This is a great civic, you know, for trade empires, you know, like Megacorps that want to get relations as quickly as possible, if they have the room for this. Depending on what you're doing in a trade empire, you may not have room for this. You might have to pick something else. But overall, it's really good. I'm gonna put it in the A tier. Can't do diplomacy without it. Let's see. Hold on, I gotta look at it again. Diplomatic. Okay. Okay, so we'll keep going here. So we're 20 minutes in. I think we're making okay time, but I think we could be faster. Excuse me. So efficient bureaucracy. This is kind of like Byzantine bureaucracy, where, you know, there's just better stuff to pick, but it's not bad. You know. So if you're big on edicts funds, you know, you want a lot of edicts funds, you have a build that's kind of, you know, that's the linchpin of it, is your edict fund. This can be really good, I think. But like this is definitely something, this definitely really niche. I actually think, looking at this, yeah, the administrator upkeep's all right, and you'll save some consumer goods doing that, but really, like I said, there's just way better stuff to pick than this. Even Byzantine bureaucracy, I think, offers some more value than this does. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and put this in the C tier because it is an absolutely terrible. I could definitely see this being in a few builds, but like this is at best a third Civic, you know, option, and you know, for those builds, or at best a second. So anyway, wow, my ADD is heavy right now. Okay, it's efficient bureaucracy. Bear with me, guys. Yeah, I'll just... Okay. So, we're gonna move on here. So, Environmentalist, can someone explain to me why this exists? I mean... Okay, let's read it out here. This I've never understood why this is good, okay? If you think Environmentalist is good, give me a reason why. Put it in the comments. Why this isn't... I wouldn't say this is derp tier. Let's read. Okay. So one, what the hell is the Ranger Lodge? Okay, that's the first question here. And I can't really, it doesn't say. So add Ranger jobs and produce unity for every naturally occurring tile blocker present. Now that is really going to depend, I think, on whether or not those are the blockers that you pay to remove, or if those are blockers that you know, give you resources. You know, they're, you know, they give you districts and stuff. Now, if you lose if you lose Ranger bonuses, like if they require you to keep those tile blockers that you can clear, that's really bad, and I don't like it. To me, that I think that's just useless. Society research alone isn't really like, it's not that impactful. There's not really a lot of, you know, potential. Now, if it was engineering research, that'd be a completely different story. But having tons of society research, I mean, yeah, it is good. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just there's way better stuff. There's way better things to focus on. And it's like the least powerful out of all the different types of research. So, and then amenities, nobody cares about amenities. Let's see. All right, so it sounds like it maybe the purpose of this is to, instead of getting rid of tile blockers, you get resources for them instead. I guess that's okay, but there's two problems here. One, keeping the tile blockers, and then two, taking up the extra job slots. I mean, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. Like this honestly is something, like I said, you're experimenting, you're screwing around, you want to try it, sure. Pop goods, consumer goods upkeep. That's not bad. I mean, 20%, that's noticeable, I think. You definitely are going to save some consumer goods. You'll be able to spend it on research, labs, and whatnot. But looking at this at face value, like I said, I'm going to say this one sucks. Or it's very niche. It's not useless. It obviously does something. So I'm not going to put it in derp tier. But yeah, if you have a good reason why this should be higher than F, please let me know. I'd like to know. Leave a comment. So we're going to put that in F tier for sure. Ranger Lodge. I just don't see any real use for this, at least on my end. But I mean, it looks kind of unique. It definitely has some unique stuff going on. So I'm just going to clear that real quick. So, okay, so... Oh, I put Ranger Lodge. It's actually Environmentalist, so go ahead and change that. Yeah, Environmentalist. If you got an issue with me putting that in F tier, please explain yourself in the comments. I want to hear it. I want to know. I want to hear the defense on that for sure. Because I think it'd be interesting to know if there actually are any builds out there that ever really use this and use it effectively. So functional architecture. This is a straight banger of a third Civic, but I would never choose it as a primary Civic unless there really is nothing else to take. Because while the bonuses are straight awesome and straightforward, there's usually better things to pick. But definitely third Civic, when there's nothing else really to add to the build or change, you don't need anything else. It's great just to pick this when you don't know what else to do. It's a I don't know what the hell to do Civic. You can't go wrong with this, is what I'm saying. You really can't. Like, picking this is never bad. It's never bad. It's going to help you, no matter what build you have. And the, machine and hive equivalents of this, it's going to help you no matter what you do. Building district cost, always good. Planetary build speed, always good. Building slots, that's mainly what you get it for. That is amazing, especially if you're void dwellers, or you don't have a lot of planets, or if you do have a lot of planets. It's just free real estate. You don't have to make a city district for it or anything. I mean, especially if you have a lot of planets, or if you have a lot of small planets. This is amazing. Okay, so yeah, this is definitely. I would say this is. I want to put this in B, but I think really this needs to go into A. This is one of the greatest third Civic options I can think of. Because oftentimes you really don't know what the hell to do with the third Civic, unless you got it completely figured out and ironed out. There's some builds where it doesn't even need a third Civic. You basically pick the two that are relevant to it, and there's really nothing else you can pick. When there's nothing else to pick this one. Is basically what this is. Okay. Yeah, it's great. It's a great filler. It's a great filler Civic. It really is. Yeah. It's just straight goodness. Like, you really can't go wrong with it if you can't think of anything else to. Now, if there is something more important, which is why this will never be S tier, if there is something important, for that third Civic, then absolutely pick that instead. But, this usually I end up picking this oftentimes because there really isn't anything else to pick. So Genesis guides, this is gonna be B tier because it's actually really interesting. This is really your only option if you love uplifting. If you want an uplift build, a build that is surrounded around uplifting, primitives and pre-sapience, then yeah, the uplift technology, yeah, this makes heavy use of that. This gives you that experience. So definitely B tier. It's definitely useful and can be fun, I would think, especially for people that want to do the uplift thing. Or maybe you have, it could be a great third Civic too if you have a lot of pre-FTL, pre-sapient pops in your empire that you don't know what the hell to do with, and you are having habitability problems. Well, you can use this on them, and I think. Hold on, let me think about that for a second. I could imagine using this. I don't know exactly how at the top of my head, but you could probably use this in some way to, basically allow more planets, more habitable planets in your empire. That's what I'm saying. And then also if nothing else, the terraforming cost and terraforming speed. You really can't go wrong with that. That's a good one. Just like functional architecture. Who doesn't want more building space? Who doesn't want to be able to terraform faster and have it cost less, especially cost less, because terraforming is expensive as hell. And if you, in fact, this might even still be worth taking, even if you don't give a shit about uplifting. If you're like, know that you're like, say you're a hive mind and you know you're about to make a shitload of hive worlds, this would be great because hive worlds cost 10,000 energy credits each. Yeah, that's a lot of energy credits. That's a lot of credits you're saving. I mean, say you were gonna terraform 10, that's 25,000 energy credits, right? I mean, if just doing basic dumbass math right there. So yeah, I mean, so this is a decent one. I definitely, this is at least B tier. It's definitely got its place for sure, and can be fun. I haven't really used it yet, but like I said, I can see just by the bonuses that I bet there's a lot of people out there having fun with this right now. So I'm not gonna disrespect that for sure. I respect it, what it does. Heroic Past. This is also a decent, this is gonna go in the B tier. This is a decent third Civic if you don't know what the hell else to do. And you're trying to optimize your leaders, especially. Or if you have a build centered around leaders, that might actually be your, second pick. Or maybe, I wouldn't say first. I don't think you should ever pick that first. There's got to be something better than that for your first. But second, third, secondary, tertiary pick, absolutely. So, go with Past. Go back here. Masterful Crafters, okay? This one's tricky. I'm gonna say this is C tier. Because I really, all my times of passing this over and just looking at this, and I've never gotten a single reason to pick this out of all the builds I've done. I've always been able to pick something better than this, and two, yeah, or it's completely irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant and doesn't really gel with the build I'm using. So it's either useless or there are better picks. So, but I could see something. I guess I definitely see possibilities here. I'm sure there's some people out there that are making good use of this. I just don't know how. So for me, it's kind of C tier, I think. I don't think it's really bad. Well, it might work in the right trade empire for sure, especially if you're not a Megacorp and you're still doing trade. This might be something good to pick. But other than that, the bonuses here, they just seem pretty underwhelming. I mean, 3 districts for 1 building slot. So basically 6 districts, you'll get 2 building slots. I mean, that's not terrible, but it could be better. Like, I mean, maybe every 2 districts you get 1 building slot. I don't know. I think the bonus could be more powerful, but also they have to check again and make sure, what you actually get with your artificers as opposed to your artisans. I don't think there's really much of a difference there. I think basically with this, I guess you're getting extra trade value. And that can be good, especially if you have, the mercantile tradition. I just wonder how that's going to translate to consumer goods if you just get more. I wonder how that math works. But anyway. But yeah, other than that, just at face value, it really doesn't look... I've never had any reason to ever take this, so... But I don't think that's because it's bad. It's just there are almost always something better there, so... Just have put Masterful Crafters here. Not to mention consumer goods. It is... I'm not going to say it's a bad resource, because obviously it fuels a lot of empires' research, and that can't be argued with. But I think consumer goods are not I think consumer goods are a pain in the ass, to be honest. They split your alloys in half. Like, that's kind of why consumer goods is part of the reason I played Hive Mind and Gestalt Empires for as long as I have. I don't exclusively play those. Like, I'm actually playing a biological empire right now. But for the longest time, consumer goods used to really irritate the hell out of me. I'm sure I'm not alone there. A lot of people have said this in my comment section over the years. So, Memorialist, let's go ahead and read this. Sanctuary of Repose. Sanctuaries of Repose. Okay. Death Chronicle of Jobs. Improving government ethics attraction on Tomb Worlds and Relic Worlds. Why the fuck do I care about that? Turn consumer goods into unity, stability, and inherit the ethic-based modifiers of culture workers. Okay, so I kind of don't understand this at all, how this is relevant or powerful at all. I mean, even in a Necroid or Necrophage Empire, you know, or Death Cult, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I don't really see the value with this. The bonuses just reek of badness, so to speak. Okay, so honestly, this is going to be F tier. I have no idea why this is good. I'm sure somebody's using it, but yeah. Let's see. I guess it might be good from a RP perspective, maybe. That's the other thing too. Some of the stuff could actually be good if you're trying to roleplay or whatever. You know, there is that side of things that people can be interested in. I'm not really, but you know, it's not my first choice. Like I think the strategy and the conquest should come first before the roleplay. So merchant guilds. Merchant guilds decent if you're doing a trade build. The only thing is this is a biological civic, and I generally do not do trade builds without Megacorp. But then again, I might change my mind in the future, considering that, you know, Megacorp does tend to get screwed over the more DLC that you have. So I think really I can't really put this in the C tier, because if you're trading, it is extremely useful. If you don't have Megacorp and you have a vanilla trade empire, I don't see why you wouldn't put this in. I really don't. Yeah, it's definitely worth it, especially if you don't have a second civic to pick really, other than your initial one. So we'll just go ahead and put that in the B tier, merchant guilds. I don't really use it because it's biological, but I usually play Megacorp, but that might change. It might change sometime. I think I might actually really try hard on a non-Megacorp trade empire at some point. So mining guilds, that's an obvious B tier. There are better things to pick, but this can be a very good third civic. Or even a primary, or like basically if you're playing straight hive mind, you can't go wrong with this. You know, just the more minerals you get, the better when you're playing hive mind. It fuels your empire. Hey, I am here, and I did just get here, Cut Warrior. You're not late. If anything, I was. That's all right. I'm glad you're here, man. Yeah, we're only 40 minutes in, so you're good. We got quite a bit of more time to go. And at this rate, I think I might have to cut it off after I finish with biological. I might have to do, you know, the rest in the following days. So, mining guilds, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. You know, you get extra minerals. It's like you have a mineral purification hub on every planet. So, and you get stability from miners also. So, your mining worlds really aren't going to have stability issues that much, I think. So, yeah. Mining guilds is good. It's good. There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, B is like there's nothing wrong with this Civic at all. You know, this is just an all-around decent pick. It's not amazing. You know, it's not like the meta or anything necessarily, but it's at least a good third pick, if not a primary pick. So you can't really go wrong with it. So you can't really go wrong no matter what empire you're playing. You really can't go wrong with extra minerals. I mean, minerals are about as important as energy credits, to be honest. In fact, in the beginning of the game, they're absolutely critical. So you could actually have a really your early game could go really fast with this Civic. I could see that happen. I mean, you having all that extra minerals right away, being able to develop your planets really fast. I mean, that's going to put you ahead the rest of the game, I think. So, so natural design. Okay, this is definitely A tier. I have used this and I have not been disappointed. Yeah, mining guilds is a great third. It's most B tier, honestly, most B tier civics are great third civics. Most of them are great third tier. Like, most of them are S tier when it comes to third civics. Because usually there's nothing to put there. Not always. Some builds require a third, but most don't. Most pretty much function without the third. So really, third is just the icing on the cake. So that B tier civics are really good for a third choice. You know, but as far as like standing alone on their own, no, not really. That wouldn't be my, you know, I wouldn't center my build around that necessarily. Unless I'm playing Hive, then I might have some kind of strategy I'm trying to do or whatever. But anyway, so natural design, that's going to go in A tier. This is really powerful if you know what you're doing, and you really don't give a shit about, and you have no desire to spend one of your traditions on and spend all the time on and investment in one of the ascensions. Like if you just this is power that gets front loaded to you, so that can be extremely valuable, especially if you're doing a rush. Oh yeah, if you're doing a rush, this is incredible. So yeah, and it's definitely like, especially if you really just simply don't have room or time to invest in ascending, you know, pick this as your third, if nothing else. It's pretty good, but beware. And the reason this will never be S tier also is because you basically are locking yourself out of ascension paths, which overall are more powerful in this if you can pull it off. But like, for example, cybernetic ascension, especially if you're not picking the right origin, that takes forever to reap the benefits from. You know, you've got to go through first you've got to, you know, I think you need to go do at least two, fill out 2 traditions. Then you have to forego galactic force projection and pick cybernetic, you pick the ascension path, and then you've got to complete the entire tree, do the event chain, and then you've got to spend the research, and it generally takes a long time before you finally have your population complete cyborg and have all the new genetic traits and everything to get all the benefits from it. So to get all the benefits from most ascension paths require a lot of time. It's not going to happen before mid game usually, unless you're playing a specific origin, like, you know, cybernetic creed or synthetic fertility, you know, and or teachers of the shroud. If you're not doing any of those, then you're not getting an ascension path until mid game. I can almost guarantee you. You know, any normal player, that's going to be their experience. They're not going to be able to get that in and finish it to the point where it really does anything until mid game. You know, and I mean from the time you pick up the ascension to choose it, from the time that you finish altering your species, where you really get benefits from that. That's where That's what I'm talking about most of the time. Now, obviously, there's exceptions to this, and I'm not talking about the origins. I know there's plenty of origins again. Synthetic fertility, cybernetic creed, to name a few, where you can pick up those particular paths right away. But if you don't care about that and you're not doing that, and you just want straight power, especially if you're rushing, yeah, this can be a good second pick. Maybe even a first pick if you not really doing anything else special. You just want a straight rush. I could see it being a first as well. So, so yeah, we're definitely putting this in the A tier. This is it's not a good substitute long term for an ascension, but if you're not going to do that anyway, it's amazing. And it's also a good RP Civic as well. Let's see if I can. I think it's natural design, right? Let me put it up here. Yeah, okay. So yeah, basically pick natural design if you don't intend from the start to do an ascension path. Now here's the other thing. I don't know what DLC this requires. I guess I could look it up real quick, but especially if this is vanilla, I don't know where this came from. You know what? I gotta look it up. I'm sorry, guys. I know this is gonna take extra time. Let me look it up. Natural. Okay. Mars. Wiki. What does it require? Let's go. Come on, let's go. Holy cow. Took forever. So this requires machine age. Interesting. Okay, so you need the new machine age DLC to, according to the wiki, to get this. I can count on one hand the times that the wiki's been wrong, so I mean, but just word of warning there, do your research if you need to, but yeah, I mean, it says here machine age that you need that for this. So, but yeah, it's pretty darn good. If you're not going to do any special ascension or anything. So I went ahead and did that. Okay, let's get the show on the road. Natural design. Let me go back to tab. So oppressive autocracy. So forced dystopian living standard, which isn't really the best living standard anyway. Not really a lot of exploits or gimmicks around that, or any real solid strategies around that that I can think of at the top of my head. Consumer goods. Only ruler jobs, enforcers, and have amenities upkeep. Okay, that might be useful. That actually might be very useful. You might not have to have hollow theaters if you pick this. So that is legitimate. Most pops generate one additional crime. That is very bad. I don't like that. Only ruler jobs can produce amenities. Okay, that's confusing. It forbids hollow theaters. So this is like the anti-hollow theater Civic. So I will give it points for that, because I fucking hate hollow theaters, and the fact that I have to use one for every damn planet that I have when I'm a biological empire. That's something they need to change. It shouldn't be required. But it pretty much is. Ask anybody who plays this long enough. Trust me, you'll get to a point, unless you're doing a trade build, even then, you get to a point to where you're like, what the hell? I simply do not have enough clerks, or I do not have enough of... I have nothing that produces amenities. What do I do? Well, you have to go get a hollow theater and waste one of your building slots for a small amount of unity. Yeah, I don't like hollow theaters. I think they're inefficient. So I kind of, yeah, I hope they do something about that. But anyway, this is, you know, something you can do about that if you really hate Hollow Theaters, which I understand your hatred, absolutely. Leader upkeep minus 20%. Now that could be good in the beginning of the game, absolutely. Another commander, okay. Don't know how that fits in, but ruler happiness, unity for enforcers is dog shit. Ruler happiness, yeah. So this is going to be C tier, guys. I really just I don't see myself ever using this as much as I hate Hollow Theaters. There's just so much better stuff you can pick, and there's not really a lot of builds I think really that this will really help. I mean, if anything, this is a third Civic, and it's not even an amazing one at that. Now, if it was like forces the utopian living standard, yeah, there'd be all kinds of gimmicks and exploits and crazy builds around that, for sure. But it's not. So, yeah, it's not even using the best type of living standard in a lot of people's eyes, I would guess. See, so pleasure seekers. This is going to be probably another F or C tier. I have never had any reason to use this. At all. I mean, why would I want increased consumer goods upkeep? That's lame. So now capital buildings require or provide entertainer jobs. Now that could be a way to erase Hollow Theaters as well, which might be good. Pop growth from entertainers 1%. I don't really know how that scales or how that, if that would make a difference or not. So servants, yeah, if you have servants, I usually don't. Produce 5 missile amenities. So I guess this is another workaround, work around the Hollow Theater, you know, to keep you from having to pick a Hollow Theater. But the problem with that is I would rather waste a building slot on each one of my planets than waste a Civic. You know what I mean? Waste an entire Civic just to not pick Hollow Theaters. Sorry, but there are better things that I can put in that slot. I'd rather have the Hollow Theaters, even though I don't like them. Yeah, so yeah, this is going to be C tier as well. I got to give props for trying to get rid of the Hollow Theater problem, but yeah. But again, as with other things on the C tier and F tier list, if you think this needs to go higher and you have a good case for it, go ahead and leave a comment, man. Knock yourself out. Come at me, bro. You know, I want to hear it. You might have something that I haven't thought of. There's many commenters, there's many times where like I thought something was a stinker. Somebody went in my comment section and said, "Hey, no, this actually isn't a stinker if you do this and this and this." I'm like, oh, okay, and it expanded my consciousness a little bit. I've had those comments before. So police state, this is now telepaths, that might be useful, but anything to do with enforcers is just a stinker. You don't, ideally, you don't want enforcers at all. You don't want crime problems at all. If you're getting crime, generally you're doing it wrong, you know, in my opinion. Okay, that's my opinion, that's my play style. I prefer my playthroughs to not have crime at all, if I can help it. I am loath to make precinct houses. I think they're just as useless as luxury houses. Basically, if you're having to use those things, you are doing something wrong. That's my opinion. Okay? But obviously there may be some builds and situations where this might be useful. Or if you're dealing with a criminal syndicate, for example, and you're having to build a lot of precinct houses anyway, this might be a good third Civic to pick in response to that. Also creating a lot of stability, which is also good. Now, if you're psionically ascended, this will also be useful because it you know, you get unity from telepaths, but I don't think it's that strong enough to really justify taking this Civic over others if your plan is to psionically ascend. So, Governing ethics attraction, that's invisible. That's an invisible bonus, and as far as I'm concerned, just doesn't exist. It's dog shit. I never notice it ever. People are gonna flame me for that maybe, but you know what? I almost don't even think it's an opinion. It's like, okay, like in the lineup of useless bonuses that really don't make an impact, that's definitely in the running there for the top 5. For stuff I never notice ever. I never notice governing ethics attraction. But then again, I mean, there are builds that are really heavy on happiness management and, you know, and factions. Okay, that might actually be really good. So like I said, I'm going to put this in F tier. But again, that doesn't mean that it may not have, it doesn't necessarily have a use in any build. So yeah, it's definitely not derp tier, but it's not C tier. I would never pick this up. Yeah. I would never waste a Civic on enforcers, ever. I mean, just that just seems anathema to me. So Reanimators. Now this is really good. We're definitely putting this. Honestly, I want to put this A tier. This Civic is an asshole. Let me tell you. I don't know if anybody, whoever has Necroids, will tell you. Trying to take over a planet that has undead armies on it is a pain in the ass. It really is. Well, the biggest reason is you're not expecting it, right? Unless you look closely. But usually you're just rolling through. You're just like, okay, drip, 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 drip. You know, you're just like, okay, take. You know, you're usually rolling over them, right? Most wars are one-sided, right? So you're either rolling through them or they're rolling through you. Well, when they got this going on, and they've got these undead armies on their planets, what often happens to me is I never pay attention to factions either. All I do is just promote the one that's getting, you know, that has the most approval rating, and then suppress any that are at 0. That's all I do. And then I just forget it after that. So, but back to Reanimators. Anyone will tell you, anyone who's ever tried to conquer a planet with undead armies on it, they will tell you it is a pain in the ass. You will be waiting for like almost a half an hour for that planet to cap sometimes, unless you have an overwhelming force, which I usually do for this reason, because some of the empires I encounter, you know, I can't be bothered to look, might have this Civic and have that shit going on. And I've ran into that before. I'm like, why is this planet being taken? I look there and it's got this. They got undead armies. Not to mention they'll kill. Like, you'll have a huge transport fleet and it'll just disappear because of this shit. Like, it'll just get sucked, you know, it'll just suck it dry, basically. Yeah, this will destroy overwhelming forces, overwhelming armies. So yeah, Reanimators definitely respect to the power of this Civic. This is an asshole Civic, it really is. And it does so many good things. Now, it doesn't give you engineering research, but you know what? I think it would be too overpowered if it did. I mean, just the physics and the society research, just the fact it gives research is pretty damn awesome. So if you pick this up, you know, you're doing a straight Necroid run, Matt, this is required. You got to pick this up. At least it's your second, right? So like Necrophage, and then you pick this up. This is definitely A tier. This is a really powerful Civic, and it can cause a lot of mayhem and havoc, and piss your enemies off immensely, or it can piss you off. You know, they have it. So yeah, for sure. This is a straight troll Civic, man. Like it is, but it's also very, like I said, very useful. I mean, let's read it. So the Necromancer jobs, they recruit those asshole undead armies. Then they turn the consumer goods into research and naval capacity on top of that. Okay, you know, and spawn the army. So yeah, and then you have the whole thing, which really doesn't matter that much, but and then defeated organic armies are sometimes resurrected as undead armies. That's why it's such a pain in the ass to take over a planet that has this. So yeah, this is a defeated organic leviathan. Can sometimes be resurrected. So if you're doing space fauna shit, this is also good, right? For space fauna shit. Cloned organic space fauna you control can be reanimated, like I said. Yeah, keep resurrecting your dragons. Yeah, combine it with Here There Be Dragons. The gimmick potential, the exploit potential, just the power potential alone. Yeah, this cannot be anything less than A. I wouldn't put it at S because there are better builds out there, and it's really a supporting Civic for amazing builds. Like, it's absolutely required for a lot of amazing builds out there. So yeah, can't dispute the power of this Civic. It is all around amazing. You know, the only reason it's not S tier is because it is a little niche. It's not good under all conditions. S tier is like, it's either the niche is so good, or it is so useful no matter what you're doing. On average, you know, on your average Stellaris game, it's always like amazing, no matter what build you're playing. That's what goes in S tier. Like the absolutely broken Civics go in S tier. So we're gonna go with this. Yeah, we'll go ahead. Reanimators. Okay, so is that? So yeah, Reanimators. That's actually, honestly, I would put that at top A tier. Honestly, it is really good. It is that good. I was that impressed with it when I used it. I was like, this is fucking cool. When I first used this, I was like, whoa, dude. Research, naval capacity, and asshole arm, dude. Hell yeah, sign me up. I'll put these on. I put them on all my planets, dude. Yeah, and you'll want to do it too. And then you get Unity from the Necromancer, so they produce Unity too. On top of that, technically, you know, as long as you get that Master Necromancer job. So yeah, it's really good. Slaver guilds, absolutely required if you're doing slaves. So this is going to be B tier just because it's so niche, but it's really A tier and S tier for slave builds. I think it's just straightforward power, you know. Slave pop ratio. I don't know exactly how that works. I'd have to look that up, but I could take a guess. It's probably has something to do with like how many you can have before you start having problems, and then just resource output 10%. You know, slave happiness. That really helps because happiness obviously is always a bad thing. Is always a downside with slave guilds. So yeah, I mean, can't really go wrong with this if you're doing slaves. So I'll go ahead and put this at B tier. Because it is absolutely required in some decent builds. Let's see. Vaults of Knowledge. So increased leader experience gain and based on destiny traits acquired. So I mean this has brokenness written all over it. You know, potential brokenness and gimmick and exploits and stuff. I could see a lot of gimmicks and exploits using this, though I don't know that for sure. So don't quote me on that. I don't really use this that much though, so I really can't put this any higher than B tier. But I could definitely see this being A or S tier for, like, you know, leader focused builds where they just want to power the crap out of their leaders. Like, you know, they got under one rule, they've got all this other stuff, you know, and they got another Civic that's like, you know, floss for king, or they're just banking hard, and they pick up aptitude right away. Like, they're just banking super hard. Those builds that are banking super hard on leveling up their leaders as quickly as possible. I could see this being required, at least as a third Civic, if not a second or a first. So yeah, we'll put that in the B tier. It's definitely looks like it can be very useful in the right build. So and there's been a lot of changes to leaders lately, so, you know, positive changes. Well, leaders kind of used to be a joke, honestly, compared to how they are now. I still think that they're pretty underpowered now, but they're a lot more powerful than they used to be, that's for sure. So definitely has improved over the years. You know, the leader feature has definitely improved over the years. But obviously, I can't love leaders. One sec, guys. Thanks for your patience, guys. I'm back. So where was I? Let me get my bearings here. So yeah, we just got done placing vaults of knowledge. Did I write it down? Yes, I did. Okay, so yeah, vaults of knowledge, decent. So Agrarian idyll. So something I noticed immediately when looking at this, or it's not really looking at this, it's like looking at all the other civics, origins, all this other stuff. There are like 80-90% of them that say you cannot use Agrarian idyll. Well, that kind of makes it useless, doesn't it? If I can't use Agrarian idyll with any fucking build that I want to do, I mean, I don't know. Like, for one, you got to be pacifist. So that already narrows it down to almost F tier. I mean, that alone. But let's read it. So generator, mining, agriculture districts provide. Just make sure I'm not smoking something. So housing doesn't fucking matter. So you just provide less that doesn't matter. So 4 agricultural districts, 1 building slot. 4. Not 2, not 1, 4. Okay. How am I going to notice that? Okay, I get 1 building slot per planet. Okay, I guess that's okay. I mean, 1 building slot is good, don't get me wrong, but doesn't really seem that powerful to be putting in a Civic. I mean, and, you know, several other creators, and I'm inclined to agree with them mostly, are correct when they say that food sucks. And why would you center your build around food unless you have to? Food's like kind of like oxygen in survival games, where like you don't make your build around it. It's just there, and if you don't have it, you die. I mean, that's kind of how food is in Stellaris. It's not very useful, but if you don't have it, your empire will collapse. Just give it some time. Let's see, farmers also produce 2 amenities. Okay, now that there actually might be useful in a void dweller build, but then again, why would you pick that in a void dweller build? You could pick so many other things, you know. Farmer output 5%. I mean, that does scale, so it could be really good later, but 5% alone is just not noticeable. But yeah, so this is definitely going in F tier. I really don't really see any reason why. I mean, why I would. Well, see, you can't even use it in void dwellers, so what the fuck, right? I mean, all the stuff that you might want to use it on, you can't use it on. So it's just like, what's the use here? Why should I pick this up? You know, I guess RP reasons, which is why it's going to go in F tier and not derp tier, because it might have some RP value. But really, I mean, yeah. So I don't even know how to spell that damn word, but whatever. Yeah, definitely F tier. Yeah, Agrarian idyll just looks. I mean, it's about food. Food is already useless. It'd be one thing if it made food powerful. That would be something interesting, right? I'd be like, oh, I want to pick that up, but it has so many limits. It has so many handicaps. It's like, okay, we want you to have fun with food, but we don't. You can't have fun with food. Okay, which one do you want me to do? Well, we want you to have fun with food, but you can't have fun with food. You know what I mean? So it's just, yeah. Oh, paradox, man. Paradox. Watch. For the love of God, watch my How to Save Stellaris video, please. In fact, this is something I didn't mention on that video that I could have. How many of these civics are actually useful? How many of them are not just filler? Or at best, RP filler? How many of these actually change your playstyle? Not many. Especially the biological ones. A lot of... there's way too many stinkers here. There really is. So aristocratic elite, this is another one of those things like, okay, what does this fucking do at all? I mean, it's not clear about anything. It's another one of these vague civics that's like, okay, what do nobles do? All right, so nobles, okay. Noble chateaus holding, okay. Leaders have a 20% chance to start with an additional positive negative trait. Okay, so leader bonuses, that might be useful. Though you might want to pick up Vaults of Knowledge or some other civic instead of this one. But, like, okay. Yeah, I don't really see the thing of it is they don't define what the hell. You know what? Let's look it up. Screw it. I'm gonna settle this once and for all. Let's see if we can look up nobles. See if what we pull up here. Jobs. Director noble. Look at that. We can pull something up here. My browser is taking forever. Okay. So, all right. So an executive, an executive produces 5 unity, 4 trade value, and 3 amenities. A noble, by comparison, produces 6 unity, 2 stability, 3 amenities, and 2 authority and ethic attraction. Okay, so right off the bat, ethics attraction, don't give a fuck about that at all. And then amenities, meh, you know, ignorable, you know, negligible. Stability, negligible. Yeah. So really, the only thing you're getting from nobles is 1 unity. I'm sorry, but that's not worth taking a civic over. So yeah, F tier. Yeah, that might work in some leader-based builds, some off-meta leader-based builds, but not really. Yeah, not really viable for me. I ain't ever gonna do that. So, Aristocratic elite. All right. I mean, I want to like I want to keep like F tier is like I'll keep an open mind on that, but not really gonna do much more than that. Ascensionist, you know. So let's talk about the planetary ascension civics. The reason, at least why I never picked them, and why I don't think most people go for them, is just because the planetary ascension mechanic as a whole is, and I know I'm going to get heat for this, for saying this, but overall it is pretty underpowered. I gotta say, it's really difficult to center your build around planetary ascension and have it work. Because for one, any build that would allow you to do that, it will require those other civics in its place. So you will have to take other civics instead of Ascensionists to make the build work. So that's kind of the problem. Now this can be a great third civic. So it's not going to go into F. I'm not going to put it in F because this can be a great third civic if you got nothing else going on and you actually want to ascend a lot of your planets just because you have stupid amounts of unity. Yeah, I could definitely see picking this up as an option. You know, and then tradition cost from empire size, that is considerable. That is something to consider. So definitely there's no way that you can really put this in F tier, justify that. But I don't think it's powerful enough to be in the B tier because it's just not as used as other civics in the B tier. It's just not used enough. Because Ascension alone, planetary Ascension alone, is not powerful. And I could go into the reasons why, and maybe I should, but we're kind of a little behind here, guys. Because Because really, I usually go for an hour and a half, and that's like 4 minutes from now. So yeah, I know the phone call kind of ate into it a little bit, but yeah. So we're just gonna put this in B tier. I'm gonna try to like speed this up as fast as possible. So we'll just put not B tier, sorry, C tier. Now again, C tier could be someone else's S and A tier. It could be one build's S and A tier depending on the build. But I really don't see a lot of builds making this primary. This is at best usually a third pick at best. Usually, I don't really know of any builds that pick that first. That where it's completely centered around planetary ascension. It's really hard to make it work, just because of the diminishing returns, you know, and the cumulative upkeep mechanics. I don't know if you know what that means. So, Barbaric despoilers, that is A tier. This is a lot of fun if you make it work. It does have a lot of limitations, or it can. But if you like slaves and you like raiding and you like being just like, you know, well, and also you like being Dark Eldar. If you like being Dark Eldar, good Civic, S tier, absolute S tier for Dark Eldar. So that's why I'm going to put it in the the B tier for sure. Now this has gotten nerfed, and you know but it hasn't gotten nerfed into the ground. But it's taken a bruising. It's taken a nerf bruising for sure. This used to be broken as hell. So it did need to get nerfed. So it's gotten nerfed a little bit, but it's still pretty powerful. Mercenary Enclave, I don't give a fuck about that. Decreased opinion for most empires, so don't pick this up if you plan on doing diplomacy. But if you're doing slaves, you're most likely do not care about diplomacy anyway. So, and you shouldn't. Can't form federations. Or wait, can't form, but can join federations. Other than martial alliances and hegemonies. So you can still join federations, but they have to be those. So that can be a weakness as well. But at least you can do it. If they said cannot join federations, period, that could definitely be a problem. Cannot form migration treaties. Now, not that you need them, right? I'll show you a migration treaty out here. I'll come over here and I will take your stuff, and that'll be my migration treaty, and now I'll be able to populate planets with them. So yeah, so it doesn't really make sense why you need a migration treaty. So raiding bombardment stance is really good. Now, there's another reason why this isn't the best Civic, because the other thing you got to know about this is that there's actually an Ascension perk that does the same exact thing. Gives you the raiding bombardment stance and everything. So I guess it's really a matter of preference. If you have a build that benefits more from this being a Civic instead of an Ascension perk, then you go with the Civic. But if your build's better off making that an Ascension perk, then pick the Ascension perk. But you don't want to pick both. That's kind of a waste and kind of redundant. So just be aware of that. And empire size from slaves, I mean, yeah, that's not bad. No, not amazing, but it's not bad. Especially since it scales, so it could be really good later. Also, you are extremely limited as to the type of ethics you can have. So this isn't... The Barbaric Despoilers is definitely niche, but boy, is it fun and funny. I did have fun when I did this. I did. Is it meta or absolutely required? No, of course not. This is a meme Civic. It is, but meme in a good, like, it actually works. It's effective. It's not just a complete joke, you know. So this is going to be B tier. Barbaric Despoilers. Now, this used to be S tier because it was so broken, but yeah, there's some videos out there. I'm sure some of you have seen them where they just abused the crap out of that Civic. So let's see. But those days are long past. So anyway, Beacon of Liberty. You know, I have wanted to. So this one, nah, not really. This is C tier. I mean, Unity's good. Empire Strikes from Pops, that's decent. But like, there are so many other, like, this isn't a build altering. Yeah, it was super abused. The videos are out there, guys. Check them out. Barbaric despoilers. Just punch it into YouTube and you'll see all kinds of stuff. But anyway, but yeah, Beacon of Liberty. I mean, it's not bad. So really, I can't put this lower than C. But for one, you need egalitarian. So unless you are specifically doing that, and also the worst part about it is, you have to have democratic authority. And I really don't feel like this is worth picking that terrible, terrible authority over. You know. Yeah, I'm not even gonna. I already talked about democratic. If you want to know why I don't like democratic authority, go ahead and watch my, authority or government and ethics stream. I'll tell you there. I tell you there why I don't like democratic. I don't like I mean, I like egalitarian. I love the complex resource bonus. That's great. If I could honestly, if I could pick egalitarian and not have to pick democratic or oligarchic, like if I could pick Imperial, I'd do it in a heartbeat. I'd probably be doing that most of the time, honestly. But I hate the democratic authority forms. I hope they change them sometime. Well, at the very least, okay, I would be okay with it if you didn't pick my goddamn scientist and keep me from putting him in the science vessel. Paradox, please fix that. Little things. It's the little things, right? That is a simple fix that you could do that you're just not doing. Why? I digress, though. So, Beacon of Liberty, that's going to be C tier. The bonuses are too good to put it lower, but and if you like egalitarian, you like democratic for some reason, all the power to you. But I definitely don't think it's a primary civ. Yeah, it's only good for view builds or RP. Absolutely. Well said, Celtic Warrior. Yeah, so it's definitely at best a third Civic. For it's really better. This is like better as a third Civic if you don't have anything else to pick, and you're democratic and you've already got the civics you need, and you're egalitarian or you're democratic. I think you need egalitarian for that anyway. So, citizen service, Starship Troopers. God damn it! I want to like this. I want to play it. I have tried to find builds to fit this in, but god damn it, I have to pick a democratic authority, and I just can't do it. Ugh, it breaks my heart. Ugh, drives me nuts. Man, I know for RP purposes it has to be democratic or oligarchic, but god damn, man, I would love to use this. I just do not want to pick up that authority. I hate democratic and oligarchic authority. I really do. I only pick them when I absolutely have to. Like, I don't... Yeah, I try to avoid picking those. That's the only reason I don't pick this more. From an RP, I mean, this is absolutely required for RP. I mean, if you love Starship Troopers, you got to do this at least once, right? So this is at least going in C tier. But like, but then again, I mean, now, especially if you're a war, there are builds out there that they're egalitarian or they're militarist and they're democratic. This is great if you have, a lot of fortresses. You have a lot of fortresses. If you have, just doing a lot of fight. You're just doing a lot of fight. Yeah. Yeah, fucking, you're doing any build where you're doing a lot of fighting and you can pick this up, do it. I wouldn't pick it up as a primary, but I would definitely pick this up as a second or third. You know, if you're fighting, if you're democratic and you're fighting, I go fight. I don't know if anybody's seen the South Park Russell Crowe episode. It's like fighting around the world. Like just I make a meme out of it, right? Like, you know, this is the if you're a democratic and you're Russell Crowe, go ahead and pick citizen service, right? Like citizen service is good. You know, basically if you're the US, right? if you're the US, pick citizen service. But like, nah, I joke about, you know, I roast my country. It's cool. Anyway, but yeah, but this is the Starship Troopers Civic. If you want to roleplay as Starship Troopers, this is what you got. You got to pick this. You can't not pick it. But anyway, yeah, which is why I want to pick it so bad a lot of times. I think I will just haul off and make the build, dude. I probably should even make it, you know, make it a theme build video or something out of it. That would be nice. That is on my bucket list, I think. I will make it work, god damn it. Yeah, this is definitely one of those Civics that you wish was S tier, but it never will be. This will never be S tier, guys. Let's face it. Even with the RP, the immense RP, you know, points that it gets, it's just, you know, yeah, this is for fun. Okay, this Civic is fun. It is fun, definitely, but is it powerful? Not really. You know, I mean, it maybe. Now, you could get the same benefits from this that, like, say, OTA updates. I think that's no maintenance protocols with machine empires. So this could be as powerful as that. Okay, so, but even maintenance protocols, that's a second Civic or a third. That's not a primary Civic, right? It's not as nearly as powerful as like Determined Exterminator or one of the, you know, overhaul Civics for machine empires. So yeah, I mean, but it is somewhat practical, you know. And army starting experience, I don't care about that. That's nothing. That's invisible. Army upkeep, that's considerable. Armies they are expensive. They can be very expensive. Not as expensive as your ships, but they're up there. Yeah, if you have really huge armies, that is going to cost you a lot of energy credits. So you will be saving some cheese on that for sure. Okay, let's move on. So citizen service, obviously a straight B tier, right? B for RP. I mean, it's really A and S tier for RP, but it's only, you know, C tier for how useful it is, in my opinion. So we'll just put it in the middle. It's solid B. Plus, I feel extremely guilty putting it any lower than that because it's so fucking cool. Yeah, join the mobile infantry and save the world. Also, though, if I think now I haven't played Helldivers, but I've heard from a lot of Helldivers players that it is similar. It has immense Starship Troopers vibes, and so you might like this too if you're a Helldivers fan. Put it that way. All right, so Death Cult. All right, Death Cult. Death Priest turn consumer goods into Unity, society research and amenities. Okay, why is that special? Martial initiates produce Unity, society research and amenities. Unlocks a set of sacrifice edicts. Provide empire-wide bonuses whenever martial initiates are sacrificed. This just reeks of RP. Like RP only. This is like this really looks like an RP only Civic. Yeah, not saying that's bad necessarily, but you know, obviously it's not my preference. You know, I usually can't play stuff for just RP alone. So I really yeah, I think this is just kind of, you know, fun RP Civic. We'll put it in the F tier. At least for me. Now, I will admit, I don't have a complete understanding of the Civic. So if you know that this Civic is really good and you can make a good case why, please leave in the comments. Feel free to correct me. Maybe there's something I'm not seeing here, or I don't notice. Maybe, you know. And there also seems to be a lot of things here, a lot of really cool builds that this would not be compatible with. So that's the other problem with this also. And it requires a well, I think with the ethics, spiritualist was a anyway. So death cult is going to be, that's going to be death cult's going to be for sure. But if you can make a strong case to me why it's more useful than that, please let me know. Please leave a comment. I actually do want to know if there's some cool builds that you can put this in, because I haven't heard of any. It really just seems like a straight RP thing, which, you know, that's why it's not in derp tier, because it does, like I said, I mean, if you're into that kind of stuff, you know, if that's your thing, then, you know, that's your thing. Distinguished Admiralty, this is A tier. As a, now I want to check and make sure, but I'm pretty sure this is vanilla, guys. I'm pretty sure this is. I'm pretty sure you do not need DLC for this. Which, if something's really good and you don't need DLC for it, it automatically gets more points. With me anyway, because and for everybody that's plays vanilla, so I have to respect that. If a Civic is good and it's vanilla, oh man, and it's not getting picked over. You know, it's not a flyover Civic. Yeah, it definitely is going much higher than it normally would, because you only have so many Civics to choose from when you don't have any DLC. Let's see. English Admiralty. Let's go ahead. Pull that up. Come on. Load, please. Guys, I think next month when I get a bank account in the Philippines, I'm going to buy a just your run-of-the-mill $1,000, $2,000 PC. That of course will take Philippines energy, electricity instead of American. Yeah, I think I need one. If nothing else, it'll be a backup when my better computer gets here. If I can set that up. So, let's see, Distinguished Admiralty. I don't. It don't look like it. Let me see. Doesn't. No. It does not look like to me like this needs. If I'm wrong, please let me know. But I do not. It does not look like you need any DLC to have Distinguished Admiralty, and because of that, that is going the A tier automatically. Absolute high A tier. Very, like, if you are fighting, you want this Civic. Even honestly, I take Distinguished Admiralty even in builds where I have a lot of DLC and I still take this Civic. So what does that tell you? I mean, I can't imagine going without this in a vanilla build. Hell no. Like, if you're fighting in vanilla, this is a must pick. You know, as long as you're militarist, right? But why wouldn't you be if you're fighting? So, I mean, that's the fighting ethic. So, you know, if you're fighting and conquering, and you're doing vanilla, you know, you don't have Fanatic Purifier or any of the, you know, Total War Civics that you get with DLC. Yeah, dude, this is a must-have. So honestly, I think actually I'm gonna put this in S tier. There really is nothing bad about this at all. One, there's nothing bad about this. All the bonuses are extremely useful, other than ship starting experience. But even then, that's just the leader bonus anyway. Nobody cares about that. But no, you know, the starting skill, fleet command limit. It is rare to get fleet command limit. Fleet command limit is scarce. It's like influence gain. You know, it automatically gets more points just because it exists. Because there's hardly anything that increases that that, you know? Yeah, S tier, second pick, absolutely. You know, first pick is usually whatever overhauls your build, you know, whatever makes your build. And then this one, honestly, it's S tier because, for one, it could be your main Civic, you know, if you're just doing a vanilla fighting guild or build, because there ain't much else to choose from. And then on top of that, even if you have DLC, you want to, this is usually at least your second pick, if not your third. Like, you really, like, you can't say no to 10% ship fire rate. You can't say no to fleet command limit, ever. Never say no to fleet command limit. That's a must pick. Even 10. And then, because see, the thing of it is, if you have fleet command limit bonuses, and the other empires around you don't, and you get an endgame where you're having like million power, fleet power, and stuff like this will put you over them. This will put you over the edge. This will give you an edge over them in late game. At all stages of the game. It just gives you an edge, period, over other empires at every stage of the game. You know, fleet power-wise. You will always have bigger fleets than everyone around you if you have a high amount of fleet command limit. You know, that's why force projection is so amazing. But yeah, distinguished admiralty. Yeah, that's definitely going. So yeah, this is S tier. I was gonna put A tier. I don't think that's good enough. I think it needs to be S tier. It's just too required. If you want to do any kind of fighting whatsoever, and I play this game to fight, guys. I don't play this game to be, you know, I'm not a pacifist at heart. My default state is fight. Okay, so, you know, I'm aggressive. So if you're an aggressive player and you prefer aggression in Stellaris, you're going to be using this a lot. Trust me. You'd be dumb not to use this a lot. So I'll just put distinguished. That's good enough. Yeah, we are definitely behind. We definitely are not doing any more civic types. We're definitely finishing with biological. Okay, so Exalted priesthood. So this is just straight unity. If you're just like, give me all the unity. I really, yeah. If you're trying to, you know, if you're spiritualist, now I would try to fit it in a dictatorial build, but if you're just banking on unity and you just want lots and lots of unity, you know, Exalted priesthood's good. I'm gonna put it B tier, just at face value based on what I see here. You can't. I mean, this is a great third pick if nothing else. If you're spiritualist and you meet the requirements, I don't see why you wouldn't get this at some point. If you're going for unity, right? So, yeah, if the shoe fits, this is definitely B tier for sure. It's definitely an A tier third civic if the shoe fits, so to speak. And there might be some broken builds for this. I suspect that there are. I've heard about this, talked about in videos before, in the past, so I know that builds for this have got to be out there. Yeah, so, but at the very least, it's a really good third pick for spiritual empires. Let's see, Fanatic purifiers, S tier. Dude, do I even need to talk about that? Like, really? After my Space Marine crossover, you think I'm not going to put that as S tier? At least personally? Hell no, dude. That made that whole video possible. Now, is it the best? Is it the best Total War Civic? No. I think Determined Exterminator is better. But it's kind of unfair because it's a machine, and Fanatic Purifier is biological. And biological is always at a disadvantage when it's pitted against machine. Machine just has too many advantages over biologicals. And that's a fact. You know, that's why some people, they don't play machine empires, because they're too powerful. To them, they're too powerful. And I respect that opinion. I don't exactly agree with it. I think machines do have their own challenges, but overall, yeah, there's a lot of things you're skipping. There's a lot of challenge and difficulty you are skipping in some ways if you pick machine over biological. So, but Fanatic Purifier is extremely reward. Like now it depends on the kind of person you are too, right? If you basically Fanatic Purifier, Fanatic Purifier is genocide simulator. that is what Fanatic Purifier is. It is straight genocide simulator. It's actually worse than Determined Exterminator because Fanatic Purifier hates everyone. It doesn't even like machine empires. It doesn't like anybody. At least with Determined Exterminator, I've actually had diplomatic relations and I've actually vassalized some machine empires, some other empires with Determined Exterminator. You can't talk to anybody when you're Fanatic Purifier. No, everyone must die. You know what I mean? Like, so if you just want to be a psychopath in Stellaris, you have to pick this. Basically, this is the site. This and Fanatic and Determined Exterminator is the psychopath Civic. If you want to be Patrick Bateman, you want to pick this, right? So, yeah. Enough said. Fanatic Purifier, a lot of fun. Difficult. It is challenging. It is not going to be easy, especially at higher difficulties. Any Total War Civic is going to be extremely difficult at higher difficulties. But if you pull it off and you know what you're doing, I mean, it's great. So yeah, just absolutely fun, and it's amazing. The way it changes your playstyle dramatically. It's a complete overhaul. So really, I can't really put an overhaul Civic at anything less than S. I really can't. All of them deserve to be S. Even Rogue Servitor, and any overhaul. Now, yeah, Rogue Servitor I think I'm pretty sure it's a Civic. But yeah, all the overhaul Civics belong in S tier. We're bar none. I really can't think of an overhaul Civic that really sucks. I really can't. I mean, they all have their great flavors. It just depends on what you're in the mood for, right? So yeah, Genocide Simulator S tier. Let's see. And also, if you want to do Imperium of Man, there's also the RP. The RP value of Fanatic Purifiers is off the hook. You want to play the Covenant in Halo. You want to play the Imperium of Man, right? Like I did. But there's other ones too. There's many other sci-fi tropes and factions that want to kill all the aliens, right? they want to kill anyone that's not them. The bad guys, right? You're basically being the bad guys to an extent. If you want to, this is one of those civics you want to pick if you want to play the bad guy. Absolutely. There's Feudal Society. So this one's tricky, okay? It has some glaring weaknesses, but overall is good, especially in the right build, okay? So this is one of those, you need to know what you're doing to use it, civics, to use it correctly. Now, it's something you can use in Imperial with Imperial authority, so that's a plus. So unity from subjects, that's okay. So subjects exempt from divided patronage. So basically, if you don't want loyalty issues, but here's the thing, I can't even count on one hand the times that I've had loyalty issues with all the vassals that I've had over the years. In fact, I can't even count one time where a subject has rebelled against me, even when their loyalty was at like minus 100. So really, if you're, that's the thing, first thing here, if your vassals, your subjects are rebelling against you, you're doing something wrong, my friend. Hate to tell you, but you're doing something wrong. You don't need a Civic to fix that, man. You just need to get good, right? Yeah, I don't say it very often, but yeah, on that, get good. Is like what I gotta say for, you know, having subject problems or having loyalty problems. Now, if you strongly disagree with me and you have good evidence to back it up and you have a great point that I haven't considered or you think I haven't considered, leave a comment. Absolutely. I am open to being wrong. I always am. See, subject, naval capacity contribution. Okay. Now, that's interesting. So what does that mean? Does that mean that they give me naval capacity directly? Or is that for the Federation? I think it's for the Federation. Subjugation acceptance. Now that is good. 25 is nothing to scoff at. This will make it easier for you to subjugate empires. So that's probably its biggest feature right there. Honestly, I think that's really the biggest reason to pick this. If you want to get a lot of vassals and you want to fight a lot, conquer and, you know, force vassalize a lot of empires or you know, intimidate them, you know, diplomatically vassalize, it's going to be good. So, yeah, I mean, this has its uses, but really I don't think it's above C tier. There's just better stuff, really. There's better things you could put there. And if you need it, you're doing something wrong, basically. And it's also got some RP, you know, elements in it. Like, for example, maybe you want to pose or play as a Night World from Warhammer 40k. You probably want to pick this up. You know, for sure. Just to say you did it. So for that, that's one of the reasons I don't. And the bonuses aren't terrible. They're not useless. So definitely C tier. I could definitely see some builds picking this up, but really, I think they're just better stuff. Okay, Freehaven. Pop growth from immigration, 15%. So don't care about that. Don't care about that. Work happiness, don't give a shit about that. What is this though? Council position. Empire size from districts -3. It's a leader bonus. District upkeep. Is to some degree a xenophile. So, like, this is just a stinker, guys. It's just weak. It's weak. Now, I mean, the bonuses aren't bad, but they're not great. Like, there are way better things that you can pick over this. I can't even see this as a third pick, honestly. If your build is so bad that you've got to pick this up, I don't know, dude. That's just the way this is what I'm seeing here. I mean, yeah, it's just it covers all of these irrelevant bonuses. Other than immigration pull, I could see that being useful, obviously. You know, but like 5% happiness, I really don't think I'm going to notice that. I mean, you know, in the immigration mechanics are so effing weird. Yeah, if you need this, rethink your build. That, I guess so we're definitely putting that in F tier. It just seems completely pointless to me. I'm not going to put it in derp. I'm not going to be mean, but part of me wants to. It's like, why would you ever pick this? Because the bonuses aren't useless, okay? I mean, I could see somebody picking this either for fun or just to try it, just to realize it sucks later, you know? But I think, honestly, this is one of those noob civics that, like, noobs, you know, one of those noob trap civics. oh, that's really cool, and they don't realize how much they're passing over picking it. You know what I mean? How much cool stuff they're passing over just to pick that, even as their third Civic. You know, why would I pick this over functional architecture, or you know, or some other? Even if I was playing Xenophile, like what, or the Megacorp Civics, like why? So Idealistic Foundation, same thing. This is just straightforward stinker. Pop happiness, not worth picking up a Civic over. Amenities uses, not worth picking up a Civic over. Has to be egalitarian, no, lame. I mean, way too narrow. Yeah, F tier. Honestly, I almost want to put this in the derp tier. This is really, look how underwhelming this is. Really? You're gonna waste a Civic point on, I don't know, dude. I'm sensing a derp tier. I'm sensing this is derp tier, guys. This is just bad. This looks really, really bad. The more I think about it, the more I'm wanting to put it in derp tier. I mean, I can't really think of any build that has ever won Stellaris because of happiness. I cannot think of any build that's ever won Stellaris because of amenities. And then you're pigeonholed into egalitarian. I mean, the only redeeming thing I can see here is if your build has horrendous issues with happiness already. Maybe. And it happens to be egalitarian, but I can't think of any builds that would fall under that. I really cannot. Yeah, I mean, and if you're having that bad happiness issues, you probably just pick something else. The only valuable thing I can even think of for picking this is RP. And it's weak RP at that. Like, really? You don't need to pick up a Civic to roleplay that. An Idealistic Foundation? Yeah, nah. Nah, this is derp, dude, guys. This is too bad. I'm sorry. I'm pulling the trap. I'm pulling the lever here, guys. This is going straight into the water. You know what I'm saying? This is going straight into the garbage, dude. Yeah. This needs to be more powerful. It really does. I mean, when you've got Civics like Fanatic Purifiers, and then you go from Fanatic Purifier to this one, like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, no, dude. Like, nah, this does not deserve to be a Civic. Maybe an Ascension perk. Maybe. I don't even think that. This should be like, this stuff right here should be in addition to a bunch of other stuff for it to be worth it. Imperial Cult. Now, right off the bat, 100 Edict Fund. Very good. You combine this with the Edict Fund Ascension perk that you get in the beginning of the game. This has excellent gimmick and exploitative rushing potential already. I can already see it. I can already see how this could fit into some kind of gimmick or exploit. How you could abuse this in early game. Absolutely. Home planet, you know, additional priest jobs. So more unity right off the bat in addition to the Edict Fund. That's pretty powerful. Priest output. Can't really argue with that, even though it's only 2%. It scales. This is all around good. Honestly, this is all around decent. Like I said, I think the gimmick exploit potential is high. I could be wrong. Maybe there isn't anything out there right now with it, but I highly doubt it. I'm sure there's a couple builds out there that do some freaky stuff with this. It's just the 100 Edict Fund. That's just too powerful. That alone, like, well, for one thing, if you have a build that's centered around taking that Edict Fund Ascension perk, but you want to do something else instead of that, like maybe you want to pick Transcendent Knowledge or something, you could stick this in instead. There's that as well. So, yeah, no, the 100 Edict Fund, that's hard to beat. It's not going to go any higher than B tier, because it still is pretty niche. I haven't really heard of any real builds that have a lot of builds that use this very much. So that's kind of the thing. And also authoritarian, spiritualist, imperial is kind of an unpopular combination. Not always, but yeah. But definitely see a lot of use in this. It's definitely not bad. So when it's not bad, no matter how you pick it, that goes in B tier. So, and it probably is S tier in some builds for sure. Also, RP is off the hook, right? You know, Imperium of Man, you know, Mechanicus, or whatever, you know, cults. Yeah, I mean, it's the RP value is high as well. Absolutely. So, and look, guys, I'm being fair. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of RP and Stellaris, but I do recognize its value. I do. I know a lot of people like RP, so, and I can recognize it. And you know, if I wanted to fuck around and just role play in this game, then yeah, that would be very important. Absolutely. So I like you've seen, I'm giving stuff points for that. You know, yeah, I'm definitely giving stuff points for that. Damn, this is taking a lot longer than I thought it was gonna take. Damn, we were doing well at first too. I'm talking too goddamn much, guys. I'm sorry. Inward perfection. Oh. Guys, I don't think it's really fair for me to put this below B because I don't use it. Just because I'm biased against pacifist. It wouldn't be fair for me to put this any lower than B. This is an overhaul. Okay, it is. This is an overhaul Civic. It absolutely is. So it definitely fundamentally changes the way you play, at a very fundamental level. So I think really, it would be unfair and unrealistic for me to put this any lower than B. I'm sure this is S and A tier for a lot of people. I'm sure there's a lot of players out there that I heard somebody say once that like this is basically if you want to play SimCity in Stellaris and you like doing that, this is the Civic for you. Basically. I'm not going to go into everything because we need to hurry up, but yeah, I mean, yeah. Basically, when you pick this, you're not doing anything with anyone, you are just paying attention to yourself. So, you know, inward perfection. See, I mean, the Edict Fund is cool, Pop Growth is cool, Unity's 20% Unity's nuts. That is crazy. Usually it's like 15 or 10. That's pretty high. Pop Happiness, don't care. Envoys, you're not doing diplomacy anyway. Oops. Encryption, that doesn't matter. Yeah, so espionage is stinker stuff, but other than that, yeah, defense platform stuff, so that's kind of why it's B tier too, and borderline close to, you know, bottom B tier because defense is just bad right now, guys. I would never go for defense bonuses. The shame is that it still works. It just gets rolled over. It's nullified right now. It's nerfed into the ground. Defense is like a wet fucking noodle right now. Unless you have mods or something. But I've never been able to make it work. Every time I ever go hard in defense, I pick unyielding. I go all out. I get all the bonuses. I get all the stuff. I min-max hard. And the last time I did that with defense, you know what happened? You know what I'm going to say. Because I'm sure y'all have experienced it too. A fleet about a third of the size of your starbase that you pumped all those resources into rolls up on it and fucking one-shots it. That's it. It rolls up on it and it's gone. All that effort, all that work down the drain. When you could have just lost one of your fleets instead. That would have been less costly. Obviously, ideally, you don't want to lose it all, but You probably would have taken that out if you had a fleet with fleet power, you know, a little more than that. So that's why I don't do defense anymore, guys, because I refuse to pump, you know, hundreds of thousands of alloys into a starbase just to get it, you know, just to get it rolled over in seconds by a fleet a third of its size or less. It's I'm telling you, it's stupid bad. It's stupid bad right now. And it really ticks me off. Like, Paradox, make defense great again, for crying out loud. Anyway, let's move on. So yeah, we'll just put that in B tier. Not gonna think too much more about it. You know, and I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts about Inward Perfection. Do you have any experience with that? Have you done it? You know, what was it like for you? I'd love to hear that in the comments, guys. If you have experience with Inward Perfection, I'd love to know more about it. What that was like for you. You know, did you enjoy it? Was it S tier for you? Was it F tier? You know, you're like, I'm never doing that again. I do need to try it at least once, guys. I do. Just to say I did. Meritocracy, I mean, that's S tier. Do we really need to discuss it? I mean, this Civic is famous. So, yeah. I mean, being famous automatically puts you there. I mean, if you're going to Egalitarian, you really cannot argue against this at all. It's kind of a must pick. You know, for your standard, and also I do believe it's vanilla. That's the other part of it too. That automatically makes it S. This is one of the few vanilla Civics that is still good under all conditions. If you're playing Egalitarian, if you're doing a tech build, really hard not to take the Civic. You got to be doing something funny or weird to not take the Civic, I think. I mean, that specialist pop resource, you can't fight it. You know. And then leader trade options, that's even better. You know, there's some broken shit with that too. See, nationalistic zeal. Okay, this is similar. This is similar to distinguished admiralty. In basically, if you're fighting and you're vanilla, as far as I know, this, now correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but as far as I know, this is a vanilla Civic. It may not be. I don't really have time to pull up. We've got to wrap it up soon, guys. But this is at least a great third Civic if you're fighting. Especially if you're claiming. Now, if you're a Fanatic purifier, you don't need to worry about claims. That's one of the perks of it too. If you're, and then, you know, if you like the rival stuff, yeah, the distinguished admiralty and nationalistic zeal, you can't really go wrong with it, dude. It's pretty good combo. I did that as well. So yeah, this is A tier. You know what? Solid A. We'll put this A. It's not as powerful as distinguished admiralty by far, but it is still, the fact that it's vanilla and the fact that it's still a great third pick, and it's one of the few picks that you can pick if you're fighting in vanilla. Makes it A tier. So we'll see. Also, we all know that war sucks in Stellaris, and war exhaustion is fucking lame. So anything that reduces that is a good thing, right, guys? Thumbs up. Not to mention, claims are expensive, man, and they get really expensive later on. Especially if during wartime, yeah. They are definitely an influence dump, so if you can mitigate that factor, all the better. But it is niche, so it's not going to, and it is a third pick most likely, so it's not going to be S. Third picks don't ever get the S slot, you know. S slots are reserved for primary and secondary picks only. You know, they have to be, you have to have them from the start of the game. Now, parliamentary system, you know, people rant and rave about this. I've heard people rant and rave about this in the comments and videos and stuff like that. I mean, you know how I feel about factions. I think factions are dumb, but a lot of people don't think factions are dumb. So, out of respect for them, I will put this in the B tier. Okay, this is a widely talked about. I acknowledge this Civic's popularity, which is why I'm putting it there and not low. So, but I have absolutely no use for it. And I think there are some gimmicks and exploits that involve that as well. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I mean it. Yeah, like it. Yeah, it sucked for you when you tried it. Yeah, I mean, you mean inward direction, or do you mean philosophy or for parliamentary system? So yeah, I mean, unless you have a hard on for factions, I don't. This is going to be useless to you. Let's see, Philosopher King. This is definitely A tier. I want to put it S, but it is pretty niche. Yeah. Philosopher King is niche, but because it was my secondary in my Imperial Man video, is definitely getting a boost for that. It's definitely getting a boost. Just it's powerful. If you can use it, it's powerful. I mean, this combined with under one rule is extremely broken. It really is. This is nuts for under one rule. If you're doing under one rule, it's hard not to pick this. It really is. So but does it stand on its own? I don't think so. Now it can, but it needs to be supported by other leader civics. Of course. So this with a bunch of other leader cities also could make some pretty broken builds. And then there's the Imperial Man, that and the RP potential also is high. So yeah, I think overall solid A. I don't think it's the main character in the story, but it's definitely a good supporting character, right? It's like Legolas to the Aragorn, You know what that means. I can't imagine anybody here hasn't watched Lord of the Rings at least once. That was so yeah. Let's see here. Pompous Purist. I think this is another stinker here. Envoy improved relations. Not bad. Can only engage diplomacy with empires if they are the proposer. Automatically C tier at least, if not B tier. Just for that alone, gets points. Fucking annoying agreement spam, right? We all hate it. So this takes care of that. If you want to say fuck off to that, pick this Civic. I understand. I understand if you go out of your way to pick this. I know there's got to be guys watching my channel right now that pick this just because they hate that so much. Just because they hate getting annoyed by the computer. I know you're out there, dude. Leave a comment. Do you pick? Is this a must pick for you? I could see it. I've considered making it a must pick. Okay. Now, thankfully, we have new options as to what notifications we can have and everything. But man, especially back in the day before that was a thing. Even now, even then though, like I could see people just loving this shit, right? That alone gives it points. But then improve relations. So that's really good. Anything that does that, it's like diplomatic. It's why I put the other diplomatic one that had it up really high. I have to look at it again. I'm tabbed out. Available envoys available envoys is always good, guys. If you're doing diplomacy, that is a good bonus. You want that bonus. The reason is, and you want the improved relations bonus too. That is also very good if you're focused on diplomacy, because, and let me explain for those of you that are new that don't know this already. You can double, triple, quadruple up on the envoys on a single empire. So you got some belligerent asshole spawned next to you, right? Within 4 jumps away from your capital. Gee, that hasn't happened to anybody, right? Raise your hand if that hasn't happened to you. Nobody raises their hand, trust me. Leave a comment if that hasn't happened to you. I guarantee you I'm not going to get that comment unless you're a troll. Unless you're just trolling. I guarantee you, anybody that's played this game for a length of time has had a game when they were new where they spawned in and they were immediately rushed by some belligerent asshole that didn't like them for seemingly no reason. That they could figure out at the time. Obviously, in my case, I learned later, speaking for myself here, I learned later that, oh yeah, there's an ethics clash and all that stuff. They're xenophobe. I'm pacifist. They don't like me. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. But yeah. But what you can do, even xenophobes, if you dogpile them you can dogpile them with improved relations. You can have like 5 or 6. I don't even think there's a limit to how many envoys you can put on a single empire with improved relations. You can just do it over and over again. So you dogpile that empire, like you basically make them love you. Like you force them to be your friend. That's how you do it. If you want to know how to force an empire to be your friend, that is the #1 way you do it. So that's why this is so powerful. So when you're dealing with bullshit, it really allows you to deal with those assholes, right? Now, if you're playing a Total War Empire, like Determined Exterminator, don't try that. It won't work. They're just simply have too low of an opinion. They can't even engage with you anyway. So, but if you're just playing some asshole xenophobe or some asshole standard empire that's just belligerent and just wants to bully you, this is how you get out of that. When you spawn, if you're playing a nice guy empire. Okay. So Pompous Purist, you know what? We'll put that as B tier. The absolute, it's got indisputable bonuses that are decent that I could see a lot of people picking. You can't really go wrong with it if you're doing diplomacy, and you know what you're doing. So we'll just put it. Yeah, it has its place. If it has its place, it goes. But it's not, the most powerful, or it's easily picked over. Then we put it in B tier. So let's see. This here. And the other thing too is that it doesn't prevent you from doing diplomacy. You just do it on your terms, which actually in a lot of ways is preferable. It really is. Like, if I wanted an agreement with you, I would have done it already, right? So that's kind of the logic there as well. So damn, I'm taking too long. Okay, we got 4 left, guys. We can get through it. Shadow Council. I mean, I like this. My problem with it, well, for one, it's got fucking espionage bonuses, so fuck that. But like it fixes a problem. It fixes the problem with democratic and oligarchic somewhat. But I really don't think it justifies wasting an entire civic on it. It's not good enough. So my verdict is it's not good enough. This is going in F tier. It's not. You can't justify picking it up as a civic. And like, there's no way you're gonna if you're doing a build that requires democratic, there's no way you're gonna have room for it either. So yeah, it's not dirt, but it's F for sure. I like that they at least tried to fix a problem with this, but no, it's not a good fix. Shadow. Okay. Almost done, guys. Almost done. So we have shared burdens. Okay. Sure, burn living standard marks and goes upkeep regardless of strata. Able to use the most other living standards. Communal housing outreach. Holding. Stability, popped emotion time. 2% worker. Why? I don't know. I'm thinking about pressing the stinker button again, guys. I'm thinking about pulling the lever on this. But it really depends on, I guess it really boils down to, you know, how effective, what kind of bonuses the shared burdens living standard has. Nah, I've never heard of anybody picking shared burdens. And now it's got the hand and sickle, so I guess this is, you know, we don't talk politics here, but I guess this is the communist RP Civic maybe. Yeah. By the way, I would love to play against you in PvP multiplayer if you like the Civic. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say. That's it. Nope. I'm not getting political. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. But like, yeah. I mean, so this is probably an RP thing, guys. It's probably an RP thing. So I mean, I think this is really just the only points this gets is RP, and yeah, depending on what your ideology is, you know, may or not be worth it to you or not. And I'll just leave it at that because we don't talk about stuff. So yeah, I don't think I can put it in derp tier, but I want to. But I'm not gonna. I see the RP value of it, you know. Let's see, shared burdens. Okay, we'll go ahead with that. You know, I mean, I could see like, you know, okay, comrade, let's go, you know, pick this, you know, pick the where is it? Yeah, let's play that real quick. This is the RP Civic for this.
Automation, open access, shared wealth. With these we shall unite the stars in song.
Yeah, if you like this shit.
Automation, open access.
Oh, say it again.
Workers of the galaxy.
Yeah,
unite.
If you like this shit, then comrade, you'll love that Civic, I guess, is what I'm saying here. Right? So yeah, USSR builds, exactly. Like it if you want to roleplay the USSR, go right ahead. You know, go ahead, comrade. Anyway, shared, so shared. But yeah, other than RP, it's really not worth it. I don't see the power value in it at all. Share burdens. Let's go to I got to go back to government ethics. Okay, so technocracy. This is, I mean, I want to put this higher, but the thing of it is with technocracy. Well, no. Politician jobs, science directors. I know from experience those are pretty good. Random expertise trait. I mean, those are nice as scientists. Getting extra traits, that's good. I mean, this is at least B tier, guys. I mean, and research alternatives, especially in the beginning of the game, that can be a game changer for sure, especially for rushing. I think this is used in a lot of tech rush builds. You need materials list for it, but I think it is a little too niche. The thing of it is, I think the kind of builds that this would tend to be critical in already have stronger picks. So I want to say B, great third pick. This is a great third pick, hands down. If you like tech, this is at least your third pick, right? You're not gonna exclude this from your build. You're just not gonna pick it first. You get what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about technocracy. That's how I view it. I have picked it in the past, and also the other reason it gets decent points. Also, it's kind of high B tier. I almost want to put it in A tier because this is a vanilla Civic. I'm pretty damn sure. I could be wrong, but I remember this being a vanilla Civic, and if that's true, it definitely gets more points. You know, you can easily bump up a Civic up a tier just for the fact that it's in vanilla. Yeah, it's a third pick for sure. It's a good third pick. So we'll put good third pick for tech builds for sure. Tech rush builds, absolutely. Want to pick that third. But I don't really think you can get away with picking it first and not being bad, right? And not being not having somebody tell you to get good, right? Because like you'd want to pick Meritocracy, and I think there's another one, I forgot what it was, but yeah, there's a couple other Civics I think that get pushed in front of it. Is why I think it's not really viable standalone by itself. It doesn't go any higher. Warrior culture. So I used to look this over. I used to overlook this. I used to dog on it. I used to think that this was a stinker, right? I used to think that this was F tier. Nah, man, I'm wrong. This, especially, I'm pretty sure this is. I have to check again, but I'm pretty sure this is vanilla for one. This is actually really good, guys. If you think warrior culture is bad, you're wrong. I'm telling you right now. Now, you have to be careful, okay? Because it does cost alloys, but I'm telling you, the alloys aren't that bad compared to the insane, absolutely insane amount of naval capacity you get from this. It is stupid. It is stupid good, guys. I'll show you a game right now. I mean, I could show you a game right now. You know, when I started making holo theaters on my planets with this Civic, my I had, and this is at the beginning of the game, mind you. I went from 50 naval capacity, cap, to 300 in early game, like before year 60. 300 naval capacity just for my holo theaters. It's nuts. Yeah, this is nuts. If you can handle the cost. Now, sometimes if you're low on alloys, you might want to be careful. I would still pick this up, but and also it has other good bonuses. It also does the same thing that the holo theater does, except the holo theater doesn't fucking suck. It's like a holo theater that doesn't suck, basically. It's like an OP holo theater. It really is. It fixes your amenities problems like the holo theater, but it boosts the hell out of your naval capacity, and it gives you units. However, it does cost alloys, but see, that's what always scared me was the alloy cost. But I'm telling you, it's not so bad. It's really not that bad. The alloy cost is pretty negligible most of the time. You're not most of the time, not always. You aren't really going to notice it. The other thing too, your empire skill output from duelists is 10%. That's decent. But then there's other stuff too. There's more stuff in addition to this. One, army damage 20%. Now, army, ground combat takes second place to fleet combat, right? Obviously, but it still is an important part of Stellaris. You are going to need you are going to need to invade those planets at some point, right? And it is optimal to still conquer with transports over bombardment. It just depends on how fast you want it to go. Like, okay, it really depends on the situation, but there's still plenty of times where I will still take a transport ship with me, even though I can I can do orbital bombardment for a couple reasons. Yeah, and of course you need take this if you're fighting, right? If you're not fighting, you're not going to want this, obviously. If you're not fighting, you're not going to want this. But if you're fighting vanilla empire, this is a must third pick. I would say this is a must third pick. Army damage 20%, nothing bad about that. That's decent. That gives you an edge. War exhaustion gain. I already talked about that. War exhaustion gain is a good bonus. Anything you can do to reduce that retarded mechanic, and I will say that word, is a good thing. Mercenary enclave capacity. I'm not a mercenary dude, but if you like mercenaries, then there's that too. That's good as well. It isn't bad. If you like mercenaries, then it's even more reason to pick this. So yeah, this is really good, guys. This is definitely going in A tier. A tier because it's vanilla, as far as I know. You basically if you're vanilla fighting empire, if you're fighting in vanilla, you want distinguished admiralty, right? Number 1, nationalistic zeal, and warrior culture. That's basically what your options there. That's what you're gonna do, right? If you hate holo theaters and you like fighting, you'll pick this up even if you're not doing vanilla. I've done it, and I believe that there's plenty of reason to hate holo theater. I don't hate it just because of my feelings, I think it's a waste of a building slot. I really do. Well, it's like, okay, you have clerks, but you also have. I also need holo theaters. How does that make sense, right? The clerk should be making the amenities that I need if I'm gonna have them. That's why I fire them. I just go with holo theaters. It's like they don't do shit anyway. But if they gave you the same amenities that the holo theaters did, then we wouldn't need them. And why need them? Clerks suck anyway. Everybody knows that. Unless you're trading, clerks suck. They absolutely suck. They do. They're a waste of a job slot. The only time I use them is if I have no choice, basically. It's like food. The only time I get more food is if I have no choice. Like, I'm out of food. So, man. But that's it, guys. I think that's it for your standard biological civics. And man, if it took this long, I think though this was the largest portion, so I don't think the other tier list streams I'm going to do are going to be as long as this. We just had a lot to cover. We had a lot to cover. So let's go ahead and now I'm going to pull up the tier list, and we're going to review it very quickly as we can. Okay, so all right, let me go ahead and switch over. So this is my amazing tier list, right? Isn't it great? I hope you guys can see it. I understand if you can't. I apologize if you can't, but I'm sorry, guys. Again, I am not paying a subscription or making an account for a goddamn template. No, not doing it. No, that shit should be free. Stop trying to monetize every little goddamn thing. I guess is the message I'm sending. Like, it's just monetization insanity that we're dealing with. They want you to subscribe to every... Dude, I don't have enough money. What part of we don't have enough money do you corporations not understand? Like, right? I mean, what part of that do you not understand? Anyway, that's as political as I get. I'm just gonna keep it to gaming here, but so this is what we got. S tier, we have Distinguished Admiralty, we have Fanatic Purifier, and we have Meritocracy. Okay, and this is biological empires, by the way. A, we have Diplomatic Corps, Functional Architecture, Natural Design, Reanimators, nationalistic zeal, philosopher king, and warrior culture. In B tier, we have Byzantine bureaucracy, Corvée system, Genesis guides, heroic past, merchant guilds, mining guilds, slaver guilds, vaults, all the guilds, vaults of knowledge, barbaric despoilers, citizen service, exalted priesthood. We have a lot in the B tier. Imperial cult, inward perfection, parliamentary system, pompous purists, and technocracy. Okay, and for C tier we have efficient bureaucracy, master crafters, oppressive autocracy, decadent lifestyle, Ascensionist, beacon of liberty, and feudal society. And in the F tier, we have Crusader spirit, cutthroat politics, environmentalist, memorialist, police state, agrarian idyll, aristocratic elite, death cult, free haven, shadow council, and shared burnings. And the Darwin Award, the derp tier, goes to Idealistic Foundation. Yeah. So that's our derp tier winner for today, guys. Derp meaning absolutely no reason for it to be in Stellaris, as it is right now. So yeah, waste of a Civic. So for derp, you could say total waste if you want. F is still useful, but incredibly niche, right? Just very limited use. So yeah, that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. I'm glad I came on today. I almost didn't. I'm dealing with some dumb stuff, but you know what? I'll get through it. I'm doing it for you guys, and you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna get through this, and I'll be fine. Life is not a vale of tears, and I wasn't born. I don't believe I was born in this world to be miserable. So I'm not gonna be. With that, take care, guys, and thanks for stopping by again. Kilt Warrior, thanks for your support. Thanks for all the ones who chatted. Appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you next time.